That's right.
Oh yeah, hold my wine. I gotta have my wine.
Yeah.
Right.
Katie.
Yes.
Cheers.
Sorry, I just.
Oh, no,
we
the
got
logo's facing the wrong
We're
way.
going right now.
Yeah, no, we need to
The
get
logo's
away.
facing the wrong ways.
Yeah.
I know. We're going. We're going.
Yeah, that one.
No.
Can they see it? That's what matters.
All
Yeah,
right.
no, it's all right. Yeah, when we zoom in.
How did I get the least amount? What are you trying to do here? Anyway. Oh.
Rosé and Pinot.
Okay. 1,
Together again.
2, 3. Good morning. Now, why did I say that? Okay, start over. Hello,
This is
everybody.
totally going
We're
in.
here. Hi, everybody. We're here today on Hold My Wine, a Wonderfully Willamette podcast. We have a very special guest, Baron Robison from Kickin Cancer. We also have Nate has a new featured wine.
I do. It's March, so this month is River's Edge out of Elkton, Oregon, down in the Umpqua Valley. They have their own AVA within the Umpqua AVA, the Elkton AVA. And we actually have the general manager coming up this month here and pouring some wine and talking about their wine and everything. So it's a lot of fun. We've got their Sauvignon Blanc, their Aligote, which is the third bastard child of the Burgundy region. It goes Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, and then the varietal nobody talks about, Aligote. And then we've got their Pinot Noir and their reserve barrel Pinot Noir.
They are really nice. I've actually been to their winery before, and it's amazing.
This is one of your favorites, isn't it?
I love this one. Everyone knows I'm not a huge red fan, but I love. It's so intricate, and it's like got like a, I don't know, fruity, but obviously it's made out of grapes.
The Pinot Noir, the fruit of the Pinot Noir grape.
I absolutely love those.
Yeah.
Like,
super
I
good.
could drink this all year.
So I realized I'm not a wine connoisseur because everything he said was English, and I'm not sure what he said.
To be fair, some of it was French. Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
Because it's Pinot.
Noir. Pinot Noir.
Once again, not a wine connoisseur,
Yeah.
and you're not even speaking English. That's how bad I'm.
Yes,
It's
see,
okay,
we
Baron, you're not
and
the
da.
only one. Half the time I don't understand what he's saying.
Okay.
I just
Okay.
not.
It's,
Okay,
to
you're
be
a common
fair,
company.
half the
Kickin
time
Cancer.
I don't understand what I'm saying.
Half the time, are they even listening to you?
No.
Oh, good. There we go.
Yeah.
So I'm in good company.
Yeah, but you've got
What did you say?
but you've got the Rosé of Tempranillo from Seasoned Cellars out of Roseburg,
Yes.
which you're not a wine person, but you found a wine that you
This
really
is good.
enjoy.
And right, nice logo here on the front.
That's right.
Which I think that's where we're at, right?
That is 100% correct.
This is one thing Nate's really good at.
What's that?
Someone comes in, I don't know anything about wine, I don't know. He will find you a wine that you like.
It's
Yeah.
true.
He did.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You tell me what you like,
Doesn't
and
he
I'll
think you're a
find the right
Rosé?
personality of
think
wine
so.
for you.
So
That's
apparently you
my
have the personality for wine.
Yes, that's right. I can wine with the best of them.
Oh, good.
So can
I thought you said that you're wine on this show. No wine on this show.
Well,
You can
I mean,
wine here.
some whining.
That's our
Little wine.
Little whining.
that's our Wi-Fi
Little
password.
whining.
Little
You
wine.
can wine here.
Her glass
Alright,
is
it
almost
is.
empty, Nate. What's going on here?
Well, now, so you know these glasses, these are Oregon Pinot Noir glasses, not yours, because we've got Pinot Noir and you don't. But did you know an Oregon Pinot Noir glass can hold one whole bottle of wine?
I did.
750
You did?
milliliters.
I didn't know
Stanley.
that.
Wow.
So can a Stanley Cup.
Stan.
I don't watch hockey. Yeah, I don't watch hockey.
Speaking of wine, you know, the key, you know what
Stanley
Stanley is?
Oh, yeah. It's got all the names of all the championships, and they hold it up and they win. They're usually
That's my
Canadian.
favorite sport ever.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have
Because
one.
Texas.
Yeah.
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 It's very
It
popular
was-
in Texas.
Texas is
Literally.
Well,
big.
because I am
With
tracking with
hockey.
Allie, and because it's not Hosky. Oh, there is
Hosky?
Hosky.
I swear he's only had
This
one
is
glass.
only my half glass. Give me a break. But the great thing about what Allie just said is she has found a wonderful way to hide her wine.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they think you're drinking your water.
Oh,
She's bad at hiding
Good
it.
for you.
She's bad at hiding. She
I'll
tells
never
everybody.
know. She's doing her part. Fight cancer.
Contributing.
Prevent cancer.
There you go.
But cool,
You
yeah.
just don't show up at your AA meeting with your Stanley.
Well, that's the whole point.
Oh, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's like, hydrate.
And they're like,
Are your lips turning red?
hydrating? I'm hydrating, seriously. I'm doing fine.
That's right.
Leave me alone.
She's doing so great with her water consumption.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
For-
you.
I'm seriously impressed with your hydration.
So I know there's obviously with you being associated with Kickin Cancer,
Mm.
there is kind of the true false of like drinking a glass of red wine a day, or eating chocolate, or being out in the sun, like all these things that are supposed to help fight cancer. Let us know what's true, what's
Should we do like
false.
some Mythbusters?
Yes, oh, absolutely.
Please.
The sun is not your enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
too much of anything is too much.
Yes.
True.
Moderation in all things, including
Yes.
moderation.
What about like red
How's
light
that?
therapy?
Moderation in all things, including moderation.
You mean like when you stop
Yes.
at a stoplight and you're just waiting for it to turn green?
While you're listening to
Yeah.
therapy.
That's and while you're listening. That's red light therapy.
No.
That's red light therapy.
That is
I mean,
not red light therapy,
Oh.
but I like where his.
Right.
That's
Everything.
I don't know what red light therapy is then.
Yeah.
It's the light. They like it's red light, and you like sit under it, and it's supposed to help with like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
your.
But to your son
What?
comment,
That's a thing.
there's UVA rays and UVB rays, and some are good and some are bad.
Well, A is better than B.
Always.
I learned that in school.
Always. The best time, the sun is still your best source of vitamin D,
Mhm.
but go out when your shadow is shorter than your body.
Oh.
So that you're
Okay.
getting the wrong kind of, that's just the easiest way to remember it for
So
me.
when
if
your
you're, like, 7
shadow
feet
is
tall,
shorter than your body. When you're what?
I'm just like thinking about height wise. Like, does it change? Does that theory not?
It changes where you are on the globe.
There are not less rays for us and more rays for Jason Conrad just
There
because
we
he's 7
go.
feet tall. That's not how it works.
That's what I was like.
He's
well,
closer to the
that's
sun.
fine.
Yeah.
Us tall people soak up all the sun before you get a
Yeah,
chance to
Yeah,
have it.
Oh,
thanks.
yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Now you could be technically stand in our shadow easier than we would stand in your
Yes.
shadow, though.
That's quite true.
That's a good
Yeah.
point.
That's right,
That's
too.
a good point.
I
So before we get too far into this,
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about you.
yeah.
We're already way past that.
Well, I know, but let's.
Now people know too much.
I want people to know a little bit more about you, and then we can
Okay.
dive back into.
Okay.
Baron, it's a name, not a title.
It is named on a title. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir Lord Baron.
No, Lord Baron. No, Dukes.
Kaiser,
Nope.
Salem Kaiser.
Salem
Oh,
Kaiser.
yeah.
So it was just a little over 6 years ago.
Mhm.
Just in an effort to support my sister who was battling through breast cancer, I decided to organize some friends that went to Canby and we did a Warrior Dash. And it unfortunately didn't survive COVID, but it's a 3-mile trail run
Mm-hmm.
and there's like 12 obstacles. And we just thought it'd be fun to get together and wear really bright pink shirts and go do this thing in support of her.
Mhm.
We had like 42 of us and we started with pink shirts. We ended like chocolate people.
Yeah.
No offense.
Chocolate people.
Yeah.
I love
You're supposed to know our guests like one man is coming off. It's coming on.
Meant to be a racial statement. I like you tons. This was not racial at all. But we did look like chocolate people at the end. But after it was all done, she flew back to Arizona, and to fight her cancer, she had just basically taken all processed foods out of her body, and
Yeah.
she was eating all these real foods, which is unfortunate to use the word real in front of food, but we do. And when she was just doing movement, because it keeps your lymphatic system moving so the cancer can't stop and grow again.
Mm.
And I thought, we could educate people, we could share that information, and then we could find a way to support somebody else because we had supported her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here we sit 6 years later. We have gifted back almost $100,000 to this community alone.
Wow.
We are on our 32nd. We call them Go Teams.
Mm-hmm.
We rally around somebody that comes, Go Team, whoever.
Yeah.
And our 32nd Go Team is a dispatcher right here in Salem. That's
Oh, awesome.
she's
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately battling uterine cancer.
Mhm.
And so we just find different ways to support somebody locally who's going through that fight.
Yeah.
And then educate people on things that they may or may not have known on
Yeah.
how to. The phrase I use is live an anti-cancer lifestyle.
Yeah.
So that's a short, quick.
I love that. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Because there's
Now
so
you
much
all
more I
know.
can share, but that's really the quick
Yeah.
and down and dirty version.
To be honest, most of you probably know Baron anyway to start
Or at
with.
least
So
you know my ass.
yeah.
And I am sitting down, so I'm at the,
My eyes are up here.
and in all fairness, Nate has my ass on his hat.
That's right. Yeah. I'm an asshat.
He's made it happen.
Yeah.
And I did tell Katie that I might make this shirt, but she makes this shirt.
You look
you.
amazing, Katie.
Yeah. But yeah, you might know me just because it was so funny because the very first shirt, because it wasn't designed to be anything more than just supporting her.
Yeah.
And so we did the donkey on the back,
Mm-hmm.
and it said "Kickin Cancer" in the
And then I had the donkey.
donkey. Because I didn't want to be that guy that said F cancer. I just didn't
Yeah.
want to put it out there.
Yeah.
And so
I
we
get that.
designed 40
I feel it, but I don't want to say it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel it, but I want to
You want to emulate it.
Yeah.
You don't want to.
And
put it
so we
into
had
words.
that donkey in the back. And once we realized, we might be onto something here, Well, then we hired a consulting firm. And we came with a logo and moved the donkey to the front just so you could see when you're walking to people.
Yeah.
And then we realized, there's more than just pink.
Yeah.
What?
I know, right?
There's more colors?
More colors than pink. Which, I'm glad you said
Nice.
it that way because
Who would have thought?
kudos to the, probably more of Susan G. Komen, but
Mhm.
I run people all the time. And they honestly believe that the only color for cancer is pink.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's such
Oh.
a recognizable thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the NFL will wear pink,
Right.
right?
But it's just breast
But that's just
cancer.
one cancer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now,
Well, true, but to be fair, the NFL throughout all the teams has almost every single color except for pink. So when they all wear pink,
True.
it's really noticeable.
it's really noticeable.
Because there's purples, there's blues, there's teals, there's black, there's all this stuff. But when a team wears pink, it's like, oh, that's specifically what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if all the teams wear purple, I'm like, oh, everybody loves the Vikings.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
That's true.
But these shirts are purple because there's a guy named Jason on here, and Jason got pancreatic cancer, so we designed these shirts specifically for him and his friends. And purple is pancreatic cancer, right? If someone had lung cancer, it'd be white. If they had skin cancer, it'd be black. If they had bone cancer, it'd be yellow. They all have a color.
Ooh,
Sure.
you should do a special cancer flag that's just all the rainbow colors.
We contemplated
That's
that.
taken.
Ooh, what's
We
that?
contemplated that,
It's taken.
but that kind of leans the
flag is
message to a
taken.
different
It's already taken.
Yeah.
we're supporting somebody currently up in
Yeah.
Vancouver, Washington, and he is gay.
Mhm.
And here's what I'm like, my opinion of your life choice has nothing to do with it because guess what? Cancer didn't care.
Thank God.
Exactly.
Cancer did not care.
Life choices.
Yeah.
Nate's
But
got
we-
some questionable life choices.
Questionable.
Yeah.
Like,
That's true.
Daily.
Cancer doesn't
Did he
target
get
any.
worse on the second class.
No, he actually is better.
I'm- I'm-
Because we're
He's just warming up.
It's-
We're just
I-
talking life choices right
it
now.
makes me feel good that you think this is the first class.
I'm not going to ask what class it
Yeah,
is.
But
But that's amazing.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
why we didn't do we didn't do a rainbow shirt.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
I agree with you, Dave.
Oh, tie-dye though.
tie-dye would be pretty cool.
Tie-dye.
that would be really cool.
Yeah.
And it is
have-
Oregon,
don't you
so
have a
it's
tie-dye
right.
Kickin'
We've
Cancer
done
shirt?
2 different tie-dye shirts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The challenge was the price of tie-dye got so expensive
Oh,
that it was
absolutely.
we couldn't. It wasn't cost effective to
Oh.
make a shirt
Mhm.
Yeah.
with tie-dye. But
Yeah.
So how many are there? Do you know just like off the top of your head, like how many cancers or types of cancers there are?
So
out
many
there?
cancers.
There are
That's a
over
lot.
200
Oh,
different
man.
types of cancer.
Wow.
Brain cancer, colon cancer,
That's crazy.
Well, and even with
bowel
breast
cancer.
even with brain cancer, there's multiple versions of brain cancer.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
like brain stem cancer.
Oh, man, that would be
Yeah, we support a little boy from Albany. This would be a couple of years ago, and he had what's called diffuse intrinsic pontine glioma.
Mm.
Oh my gosh,
It's
that's a
right?
mouthful.
It's a
Yeah.
mouthful. The pontine region of your brain is back here, and it just clustered inside that part of his brain, and so that's a specific type of brain cancer.
hmm
Then you have glioblastoma. There's all these different kinds of even brain cancer.
Don't want to worry you, but there's a whole lot of brain cancer.
Right.
Yeah.
just saying.
One of those moments of thinking, like, where, oh gosh, I know people who like overthink and then they'll go like on WebMD and type up,
Hypochondriac.
Oh
like,
yeah.
yes, like, oh, I have a cough. You have cancer.
Lung cancer.
Like, you have something. And it's
I pooped funny today. Colon cancer.
exactly.
Nate.
No, that's what she's saying. Like you start getting
That's really
hypochondriac.
what
I mean.
If something
Yeah.
comes
You
up.
didn't tell me that poop was okay in this conversation.
Hey, this is a no holds bar. Just
Okay.
say what you want to say.
Honestly.
Apparently poop is okay in this.
Poop is okay.
Just don't say
Everybody
shit.
poops.
Okay, I won't say
Yeah.
that. Well, I did say donkey.
Yeah.
I just said your ass is on my. Your
Yeah.
on
Ass hat.
Yeah, Nate's an ass
Nate
hat.
the ass.
Ass
Nate's
hat.
an ass hat.
The ass hat.
For those watching, we have a new name for Nate. He's an ass
No.
New to you. You haven't met my wife?
hat.
I'm like, oh, is that
But I-
Yeah. It's a cute little name.
Yeah.
I thought you looked at your car because she was mad at you. I really
Oh, no.
why.
No,
Yeah,
it's,
that's out of love.
it's just telling me where I'm going to be later.
God.
So, Barry, when you and I were next door, so speaking of colors, when you and I were next door, you were talking about the different, the colors of the rainbow as far as food goes that are cancer
unlike
fighting.
What Nate was talking
Unlike what Nate
Yeah.
was talking about, yeah.
Don't eat ass.
about. I don't know where to go with that one. I don't know where to go with that one, Katie. And we just
He is on one today.
wow.
Okay, all right.
Back
on track.
Rainbow.
Other foods. Yeah.
Other foods. So what I did mention earlier was that red wine, and here's a really fun fact. Nate's gonna like this fun fact. If you go to prostatecancer.com,
Yeah.
they actually have the top 10 things to do to prevent prostate cancer.
Okay.
Number one kind of makes sense. Get a screening. Number two,
Sure.
you can pick this up at Fred Meyer. It's called selenium.
Okay.
It's a really easy capsule to take.
Mhm.
Now, Nate's going to like number 7 on the list.
Okay.
Because it says drink red wine.
There we
Check.
go.
And the best place to get that would probably be the Old Zen Wine Bar.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Best variety of wine in the Willamette Valley.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Just in case you feel like voting for
Yes.
best of the Willamette Valley later.
That's
Yeah.
active now.
So the
Shameless plug.
prostate cancer website does say drink red wine.
Yeah.
And Nate's going to like number 8 too.
Mhm.
Regular sexual activity.
Okay.
Oh, nice. Nice. I'm write that down.
And if you want,
My Prevent Cancer memoirs.
I will send a note home for your wife, okay?
What if she reads it? What am I supposed to give to my mistress?
With that said, but this is the logic of the thing. It doesn't matter what organ in your body we're talking about. If that organ is used for what it was designed for on
Yeah.
a regular basis, kind of the whole, you lose it, you use it or you lose it philosophy.
Sure, yeah.
Right? I mean, there's research that says that women who breastfeed have less cancer, breast cancer.
Mhm.
Okay.
But to Nate's point, 7 and 8, just write that down. 7.
Wine and sex.
There you go.
Correct.
Nate's
There it is, guys. You heard it.
Is number 13 rock and roll? 'Cause
I don't know, it was 10.
oh, then 11's rock and roll.
That's probably 11.
Wine, sex, and
Yeah.
rock and roll.
So
11, yeah.
what is it when it
Wine,
comes
sex,
to
rock and roll. Holy cow.
like
No.
Please get us back on topic, Allie.
the research that I've seen or done, and it's always interesting to see where it's like obviously like even as people like we do our normal breast exams and check when we need to and all that kind of stuff. But like if you're under a certain age or you've had no symptoms or anything before, and you go request like a mammogram or you request that kind of stuff, like insurance won't pay for it, or you'll have to go and jump through
without a
all these
You're not
referral
at
or
a
something
certain
like
age.
yeah, if you're under a
Yeah.
certain age. So how would you suggest kind of getting around
that.
that?
Let me take a wild guess. All right, I'm going to take a wild guess.
Paul.
You go get a regular scheduled checkup with your physician,
Mhm.
and you bring that up and ask them to write you a referral to get that done.
But they won't sometimes.
Well, then you get a new primary care manager.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. That's a good.
If
Yeah.
you're a certain age and your
Yeah.
primary care manager isn't worrying about your care,
Yeah.
then you get a new PCO.
Well, I've heard
Yeah.
where it's like it was several cases of women who were like in the 21 to 25 range
Texas?
in Texas.
Ah, see?
Oh, I don't know if they were.
Oh, okay. I
But
think
it's one of those that they
figured
had a
something
hard
out.
time even getting like a referral, or if they got a referral, they would be like, "Well, no, you haven't had any. There's no symptoms. There's nothing. Like, there's no point in us doing any like additional testing
Mhm.
or anything like that." How would you?
Do you have family history of it?
Me personally?
Well, is this what you were?
Oh no, it wasn't for me. It just didn't happen
okay.
for me. This happened to like a couple of people who I knew.
Probably in Texas. 'Cause
Yeah.
Texas is notorious for hating women. But,
It's true.
and then like even here, like they're asking me to like poop on a container and give it to them
You have
because
to
they want me
only
to,
in a container this big?
yeah, because they want me to check for like colon cancer and things
Yeah.
like that. But I didn't ask, hey, do you have a container I can poop in? No, they're actively trying to give it to me because of a
Okay.
certain age and stuff.
Really? I just think it's interesting
What
where
was
it's
the
like
poopy?
some,
But
but
I
it's
don't know.
part of it. It's
Yeah,
part of like
it's-
a testing, yeah.
a
For it. But it's
natural-
always
Everybody
interesting.
poops. They wrote a whole book about it.
They
Where-
did. Yeah.
They do.
Like even just getting through
Drawing.
like hoops when it comes to certain stuff.
Hoops with
I've
poops.
heard like some. It's always normally obviously through the big like insurance, like that they won't cover it or something like that. Have you heard of stuff like that happening?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you really want me to open this can of worms?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, I, think
I
it's
do.
Stuff that
I'm
people
interested
would want
about
to,
it.
Like, kind of know where it's like, okay, well, more of like like how would you suggest people kind of get around that, or what they would need to do?
Have you
they're
seen
like, hey,
alternative
something's
options?
Obviously, like
So one of
Yeah.
we just hit our 5-year mark for Kickin Cancer. So
Mhm.
now I'm looking to the next 5-year mission business plan.
Yeah.
I know you ladies just opened for business. So you got a 5-year business plan. We'll now have the second 5-year business plan. We have a plot of land in Texas already found.
mhm.
It's just east of Austin, Texas.
oh,
The
nice.
people who own the land are very in line with what I want to do.
Mhm.
And we are going to build the Kickin Cancer Wellness Center.
Nice.
We're not going to call it a clinic because that tends to lead your brain towards medicine. It's
Sure.
a center. It's a wellness
Mhm.
center.
Okay.
And
You can
we
still
do-
use the same abbreviation though, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it will actually have alternative options that you're
Okay.
not being told by traditional Western
Right.
medicine. Okay.
Oh, wow.
or Southwestern medicine.
Or
Southwestern medicine.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
I think that's good. I mean, like that's been one of the things that I've just where it's just like, okay, the access to like certain things to obviously when it comes to health and stuff. I mean, the only reason I bring it up is because whenever I had surgery last year, it wasn't for camp, but it was for my knee. And the hoops I had to jump through when it came to insurance and like
it's
saying
crazy.
like, hey, I was 100% healthy. And then, hey, I'm trying to get back to that point. But they're like, oh, no, like, we're not going to schedule. We won't cover any more appointments.
Like, you're good
because
enough.
65%.
Right?
I'm like, I can barely walk. I can barely, like, do certain normal things. Like, and you're saying this is okay for me to go, like, it didn't make any sense. So the insurance thing really does, like, bug me. But
I am still weaving my way through where the head of the snake is at in this problem. I haven't figured out yet whether it's the pharmaceuticals or it's the insurance or whether it's the whole system as a whole.
I was going to say it's probably C, all of the above.
Yeah, or maybe it's like Medusa, where it's like all the heads of the snake.
Right.
I don't know yet, but what I do know and what I firmly believe is the entire system is designed to keep you sick.
oh, absolutely. That was
100%
how I
designed
felt.
to keep you sick.
Yeah.
Oh, that's completely how I felt. Because I remember I was talking, it wasn't towards her. I was like, I know this isn't your fault, but I'm like, so you're saying like, you're okay with me just staying like this, like limping and not having fully function of my knee.
And I wouldn't blame
like,
blame any people that I meet because I think the frontline workers, their hearts
feel
in the right
horrible
place.
for them,
They want to help you.
Yeah.
But they're stuck in a system.
Yeah.
And the reason I really believe that is, and I'm just going to use cancer as an example because that's that's the one that's closest to me. But if they cure you, they stop making money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And if they kill you, they stop making money. But if they keep you mostly healthy with some new pharmaceutical drug, which, by the way, that drug probably has a side effect, and guess what?
You have to take something else.
They have a drug for that too.
Right.
That's where it's
Well, if they cure you, you're still paying the insurance companies because you're paying for insurance.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they only stop paying you if you die.
Oh, it isn't. It's
But if they-
literally
but
just an
That's a good point.
It is a $13 trillion
Oh, I've got more.
industry.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel
Nate
about
said he's got more.
I've got
what
more.
is Mike?
It's a good thing because that's almost good.
No, Mark Cuban. He owns made his own pharmaceutical company.
Right.
Mark Cuban owns the Dallas Mavericks.
Not anymore.
Oh, he sold it.
I thought he sold it.
We're back to
That I don't
I
know.
don't. Yeah.
But the
Anyway,
pharmacy
I'm
he
sorry,
has.
I
No,
digress.
I try not to talk about the NBA this season.
But he. Oh no.
Ooh, uh-oh.
Okay, we'll talk about.
It's rough with the
bouncing
Blazers.
the ball.
Oh my goodness.
Bouncing of the balls. Yeah, okay.
But no, he made his own pharmaceutical where it's competing with other pharmacies when it comes to price and like really what it's for. Like he is a little bit more transparent, like with his pricing and why they're pricing it the way they are. Like when you request it, as long as you have obviously a prescription. But he says like, this is what's being paid to us. This is what it costs to make it, and there's like one other. But it's a lot more transparent than because I remember I had to get like on a blood thinner and. I was like, okay, how much does it cost for like a bottle of like 10 of them? And they were like, oh, it's like $450. And I was like, it's $450 for
Or you cross the Mexican border and get for $4.95.
Right. Yeah, I was just like, this is insane. But again, it's just one of those things. Yeah, I mean, like obviously people who are diagnosed with cancer. I mean, my mother was, and so was my aunt. It was just one of those like some of the things that they'll bring up where it's like, oh well, there's always like a new test trial for this.
Right.
And there's always this thing, and I remember a lot of the questions we asked was like, okay, are you pushing this because you're getting paid, or how many people have you actually because you feel like this is actually the best solution like for them?
So let me bring up a classic example of what you just said, Ellie. Are you trying to fix it or are you getting paid?
Yeah.
There's a substance we're putting inside all the diet sodas called aspartame.
Well, this isn't new.
It's not new, and that's the
It
problem.
took the place, I believe, of saccharin, where people's like, oh, I don't like saccharin, so get it out of my drink. So they replaced it with aspartame.
Yeah.
Whereas
so in 1978, they were testing aspartame, and like anything, they tested on rodents first, and then and they were seeing clumps of aspartame in the brains of these rodents, and they knew they were becoming cancerous. And in 1978, they said you cannot move that to human testing. Because they already knew the problem they were seeing with the rodents. And in 1983, Pepsi began putting aspartame in Diet Pepsi.
Yep.
Because it was a lot cheaper than
saccharin.
Yeah. And
Yep.
it replaced the sugar.
Right.
So for 40 years now, we have been consuming aspartame, and they knew that it had problems with brain cancer. There's this lady.
The trick is you don't drink diet soda. You drink the sugar.
Just stick with the sugar, which
That's
is a
right.
whole different conversation.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this lady was an aspartame researcher,
Uh-huh.
and she had all this data, just stacks and stacks of data that she had taken to Washington, D.C. and was, pushing for changes with aspartame. And now they're seeing clumps in women's breasts.
Oh, yeah.
And so she goes to this huge rally in D.C. I don't know who was putting it on, doesn't really matter, but there's a lot of ladies there with this rally, and she had this information. And she wanted to let them know, hey, did you know that aspartame is bad for you? And the organizers of the event told her to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, this is public property.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't ask me to leave. And by the way, are you trying to cure cancer, or are you just in this for the bonuses? And she
Well, they were there for the rally, right?
they were there to organize the rally.
Yeah. So the irony of them asking somebody to leave on
Which is
private
kind of
property,
exactly
that's
right.
ironic, right?
Organizing a rally to
Yeah.
tell them to leave.
Yeah.
And the organizer looked right at them and looked at them and says, we're here for the bonuses and the big money. We don't want to cure cancer. Now leave our event.
They said that?
They said it right to her.
Was it on camera?
Unfortunately, I can't find that.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
I just have it.
That's hearsay.
You know,
That will not hold up in court.
They don't. And
That
they
won't
have-
hold up in court.
They have the proof, but they don't.
I mean, it's always going to be, I think, a money thing. And let me know if I'm talking to. It's like one. I know I mentioned it to you before, where it's like, okay, and like the Black women's like community, we do or used to a lot more do. We call it a perm. It's a relaxer that we would put, in our hair, and the whole point
Or
was-
have somebody else do it for you.
I never did it myself. I did it once, and I burned the crap out of me.
Ooh.
But it's supposed to, like, you put it on your hair. You're not supposed to touch the skin, like on the roots and stuff. And it's supposed to help with, basically, it strips the barrier of your hair to make it straight. So whenever
Oh, wow.
Relaxed.
it makes it relax.
Okay.
No fro. Go.
So the whole point
That's
of
true.
doing it was that. But then, like, they did all this stuff. And I remember they even did it where they, like, told scientists, and they were like, yeah, would you ever say, like, if, women put this on their head and used it as like a hair treatment, what would you think? And he was like, no, like, why would they ever do that? Like, this is a chemical that literally is acid, like it burns it off. Like, you could take like a Coke can and put it in there and it literally will dissolve it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's always, but there's been a link with using that and relaxers and in breast cancer and like women, but
That's only for women with hairy breasts.
correct.
Yeah.
Now that's an image I
I'm
cannot.
like, you know what?
Thank you, Nate. That is now stuck in
You're
my
welcome.
head.
You're welcome.
But there's been a link.
My breast hair is too curly.
No,
Let me
you
just-
did warn me.
Yeah.
You did warn me about that.
Oh, did she not?
Now
warn
the
you
image
about
is
me?
stuck in Casey's head.
No, did she not
All
warn
she
you
can
about
see
me?
is someone with curly breast hair.
No.
It's stuck right
works.
here. It's stuck right here.
I'm,
Yes.
That's exactly what I'm
It's
looking. That's
Sasquatch
exactly what I'm
way.
picturing. A female Sasquatch.
Oh, okay.
That's what I thought.
You had a really serious comment.
No,
there.
it was-
And then he completely
But
screws it
that's
up
what-
with the curly
That's
breast
why
hair.
we have.
Does the carpet match the drapes?
You never know.
I have to
You
stop.
never know.
Oh,
There's
okay.
a link between them, but it's always just really interesting because it's a billion-dollar industry.
it is a bit of a.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, and fighting cancer is a
Yeah.
trillion-dollar industry.
Yes. Ugh.
So
Oh,
we've
then
been
they-
talking about
Trillions more. They should
medicine.
win.
So do you want me to shift on how to not
Pharmaceuticals.
get cancer? Do you want me to shift
Yes,
here?
that's where I'm getting at. The
You-
colors of
you-
the rainbow.
Yes, back of the rainbow and not curly breast hair.
Yes.
Sorry, Nate. Well,
That's
so-
that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
Nair. Okay.
Yes, and since this is video, it
Oh.
will not be a
Okay,
video
okay.
topic, just a topic.
All right, real quick.
Okay.
Allie has to jet.
Oh no!
So soon.
Right. I gotta. Yeah, I had to a meeting. We have to head to after that. Just after this. Just
Okay.
touch base.
Okay. So we're gonna then if you're gonna leave, we're gonna do this much easier. And Allie's leaving. Bye, Allie.
Bye, Allie.
Bye, Allie.
She's got to finish that glass.
Oh, damn, girl.
Bye.
Talking about wine.
Now Allie's gone. Okay. All right.
All
Bye,
right.
Allie.
So we discussed pharmaceuticals. We had a kind of a heavy topic on that, but we're switching gears and we're going to talk about how to prevent cancer with the different colors of a rainbow.
Yes. Well, and I love that you said to prevent cancer because I have been asked this numerous times. This thing that I started 5.5 years ago, they're like, what makes Kickin Cancer different? And I said, well, here's the reality. we need lots of groups with breast cancer support groups and blood cancer, and those are all really relevant groups. But if all of a sudden we go, hey, you've got breast cancer, and now you want a place to go, it's reactive.
Right.
It's
It's going from cure cancer to you want to get ahead of that and become a preventive.
So we are proactive.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's what makes us different. We are proactive to prevent cancer, and that's really where our niche is at. And I appreciate every one of the groups because I have friends in many of those groups because I know people who have breast cancer that want to submit to the support group. But let's get ahead of the curve on this cancer thing.
Yes, please.
And so in the prevention phase, the easiest phrase I can use is think about eating the colors or drinking the colors of the rainbow.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
All foods have phytonutrients that are really powerful for our body.
All real foods.
All real foods.
Real
Yes,
foods.
thank you.
Real foods.
Because we are now as a nation consuming food-like substances.
Right.
We call them food,
Right.
but they're not really food anymore.
Exactly.
We have engineered lots of things that resemble food.
Like if you look at a box of crackers and it's like you've got wheat and water and salt, but then you have all those other things
That you
that
can
are
even
on it.
pronounce.
Right. So various different kind of crackers.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be racist.
No.
No offense. Different kind of crackers like wheat thins or Triscuits and things like that. That was a callback
Or like
from earlier.
rainbow cakes. Doesn't count.
What is it? Rainbow cakes?
Rainbow cakes.
Ooh,
Cakes, I don't
it's a
know.
rainbow cake.
Yeah. But to your point, Nate, I always say if it took a factory or a chemist to create it, it might be a little difficult for your body to digest.
Yeah.
And if I cannot pronounce the ingredients, maybe I shouldn't eat them.
Well, that's,
And
yeah.
Maybe but you can always do research and I'm all for it. And like some things have those things in them for sustainability, shelf life, things like that. But same thing as you said with the aspartame, right? Everything should have some sort of examination, and you should be able to look up exactly. Okay, does this have any negative effects?
Right.
Just like when you watch a commercial. For all these commercials that are on for take this pill, take that pill, and at the very end it goes through those lists of
Which takes
could
longer
possibly be
It
death.
takes you longer to tell the side effects.
That's why they speed it up. Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If they did it at the same pace they were talking, it would take forever.
Then you might think twice about like, oh, I'm gonna
And
eat
if
this
one of the
thing.
side effects is possible death, I don't want to take it.
Right.
No doubt. I mean, most
Possible death.
of those side effects, though, I'm like, that's worse than the actual thing that this is trying to cure, if
Yeah.
you will. Yeah.
So part of our message is really to eat that real food. And I just say eat, consume the colors of the rainbow.
Yes.
So here's a couple of really easy examples.
Okay.
Broccoli, which is green.
Yes.
Broccoli has a chemical called sulforaphane. Every cancer out there hates sulforaphane, does not like sulforaphane.
Okay.
The
your broccoli.
florets are really easy to cook and eat. But
Yeah.
if you want the really powerful, there's two places here in town. The one that comes to mind quickest is Life Source. They're on the commercial.
Mhm.
But Life Source, you can get broccoli sprouts.
Ooh, okay. Broccoli sprouts.
So think of alfalfa sprouts, same concept. There's 50 times the amount of sulforaphane in a broccoli sprout
Oh,
than in the
wow.
broccoli itself.
Okay.
And I guess the easy way to think about it is you've got little people, little children.
Oh,
how much
like,
energy
not
does it
little
take?
people.
Not
little people.
Yeah, don't make me racist, Nate.
That's prejudice. That's not.
People is a race.
It's not a race. It's not.
No, I said
and we're not-
chocolate people, and y'all looked at
It's
Allie. So
Hobbiton. It's not Hobbiton.
I'm just keeping myself out of hot water here. Young versions of humans. There we go.
Young humans. Young
humans.
humans.
But it's a lot of energy to grow.
Oh,
from
yeah.
4 years old. to 10
Absolutely.
years old. And so it's
Okay. So similar concept.
Similar concept with the broccoli sprouts. So there's 50 times the amount of sulforaphane in those broccoli sprouts. Tomatoes, which is red, those have a chemical called lycopene.
Yes.
Prostate cancer specifically hates lycopene.
Okay.
Hates it.
So all you men out there, eat your tomatoes.
Yeah, and here's a really simple meal. Again, we're talking real food. So
Yes,
don't go
real
get
food.
some Wonder Bread.
And it's not like the tomatoes sprinkled on Taco Bell.
No. And I would recommend that you go to Trader Joe's because food
I've been there once.
should have a short shelf life.
Yeah,
And
right.
if you go, I bought this bread and I didn't eat it and then it molded, that's a good thing.
Right,
It's supposed
exactly.
To mold. It's supposed to mold.
That's really funny because
It's supposed
when I
to
was in
mold.
4th grade, we did a science experiment where everyone had to bring a slice of bread and we put it in a bag with a little bit of water.
Mhm.
And some people's would like mold right away. Mine The one that my family was feeding me never molded.
Yeah.
Which is scary.
Right? And my teacher's like,
Maybe
maybe we should have a conversation.
What's your phone number for your mother?
I mean,
Danger.
my parents were
Danger.
like, no,
Yeah,
you know,
danger.
it's not like they're like, oh, this has all these chemicals and I'm going to feed it. You know, they had no
They did
idea.
that,
That's what I was just discussing with my wife Michelle like last week. We were talking about, we keep buying all these bread. The kids are making sandwich. She's like, let's just bake bread. And I love to bake bread. It's great baking bread. But I told her, I was like, if you want to bake bread, sandwich bread for these children, they're eating that bread because you really have like a few days on it.
Exactly.
Mhm.
That's it. It's not like buying a loaf of bread that's all enriched and it's got all the whatever those things are called, preservatives in there to preserve it, because
And
your
make
bread.
longer shelf life.
Yeah, exactly. So
Exactly.
it's great. You can bake your own bread. Use the bread you bake as soon as possible. That's why if you bake, you can bake bread every day because you can
Absolutely.
the amount that you eat. You just make a little bit. You don't have to make a whole loaf. You
Right.
make a half a
You can
loaf.
control. I love making bread, by the way. It's very therapeutic to make, but it's also, it tastes so much better in my
100%.
opinion. It is just, it's so
There's
good.
so many different ways to make
the
it.
guys that you were just talking to, you go to Trader Joe's,
Yes.
you get some real bread,
Yes.
and then you put a couple slices of tomato,
Or call me and I'll make it for you.
or call Katie.
Are we making a
Her
BLT?
phone number is 555.
Yes.
So you get some really good bread, and then you put tomatoes, and you put the broccoli sprouts to give it some crunch,
Okay.
and everything about that is going to.
I'm going to say
Cancer.
some
Perfect.
slices of
And it's so
avocado.
easy.
And I say that the way you spell pharmaceutical is
ARM.
Farm. So there's a green,
Farm
there's
to
a
table.
red, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
The grapes, and again we have this wine here.
You wash
which
down
is
your
made from-
sandwich
Yeah.
with some wine.
Yeah.
Some wine.
You don't need a lot either.
Don't need a
You
lot.
don't need a lot.
And
But it
this
helps.
This is where
I
there's
mean,
a slight
fun in that.
clarification. I did say earlier that number 7 and number 8 are really good for Nate.
Yeah.
Yes.
But this entire bottle of red wine may not be cancer fighting.
Right.
There are regions
Right.
in the world, Italy and Greece specifically, where there are some lower cancer rates,
Yes.
but they drink like this much wine.
They just swig of it.
It's just it's a little bit every night.
Yeah.
An even easier way to get a little bit of wine, because if you come see Nate, you're not getting a little wine. And if you sit down with Katie, you're not getting a little bit of wine. So if you want a little bit of this red, purple stuff, you just get the red grapes. That's what they're making the wine out of. And it's the purple. It's the purple on the skin.
It's the skin mostly. It's you're better, even if you were just like peel the skin off and eat that. You're better to do that than just like
And just eating those red grapes. The chemical is called resveratrol.
Resveratrol.
And it's a phytonutrient. And that's what is fighting the cancer.
Yeah.
So again, the red wine is great, but you can get it just through grapes. So there's your purple.
Mhm.
Yep.
And again, you've got
The table grapes are also table grapes too. They're not very red for the most part too.
So you want the purple ones, not the red ones.
But even then, like grape wine, like wines for grapes, for red wines, those are usually a lot more robust. Like they're small. Like grapes for wine are super small and more concentrated, whereas table grapes are made to be grown large.
Right.
They go through all the what's that process? GMO. They're actually changing it. Like, let's get the biggest seedless grapes. I mean, we got seedless grapes.
Yeah.
That's something
That's
that was
GMO.
That was
Genetically modified.
It is genetically modified to be seedless.
Yeah.
Because nothing in the wild would ever grow seedless like
Right.
that in a fruit. Because every plant that has fruit is supposed to have those seeds.
Isn't that funny though? That it's like the most mild inconvenience.
A seed. Growing up, we had seeds in our grapes.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that?
And I hate going, there's a seed, but that's what it does.
It's the pits.
I used to eat. So my friend had a neighbor who on the other side of their fence had a huge Concord grape.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh man, just taking those. But what I would do is I would not peel it, but I'd squish it out.
Yeah.
Squish
so
out the
I
seed.
wouldn't get the, but I probably should have eaten the,
Yeah.
Well, not the, you'd squish out the meat
yeah.
and throw away the skin.
Yeah. So
Little did I know.
little did you
color I want to
know.
bring to your attention.
Yes.
Because I see you have something right here.
Yes. Okay.
What
So
color?
the last color is blue. So we have green from broccoli, we have red from tomatoes, we have the purple from the grapes, we have blue from blueberries,
hep.
Oh, yeah.
and that phytonutrient is called an anthocyanin. Not
Anthocyanin. Cyanin or cyanine?
Cyanin.
Cyanin.
Sign in.
Anthocyanin.
And again, blueberries are super easy to get at stores, but this is a really cool collaboration And that sounds really good too. So
I have blueberry wine.
well, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we should have brought that out.
Yeah.
But we are also
This is
promoting the
actually
Salem
made
Capitals.
right here in town.
Mhm.
It's at Sandy and Brewing, and it's made specifically for Odd Mo's. So you can get this today at the Odd Mo's. But the fun thing is on the side of the can, it has the Kickin Cancer logo on it.
Nice.
That's a blueberry
Okay.
Hefeweizen.
So we're going to do a little taste of
Now
it.
this is
Yeah.
strictly at Odd Mo's, because I know Odd Mo's is also doing the food at the Salem Capitals game, right?
Yes.
So Odd Mo's has they have 2 new beers and 1 cider, and that's at the games. It's at 5 or 6 locations like Magoo's. It's at the Kaiser Liquor Store. So those are new ones that they've created. This one specifically, you can only get this one at Odd Mo's.
Again, we're going to showcase this.
And this is just a fun one because they do have the blueberry.
Yeah.
And then you have the Odd Mo's.
So this is a cider.
This one is not. This is.
We're not gonna poof this. Come sit down. We're talking about
Oh
cider.
my gosh.
It's
Perfect. Perfect.
Look
time to get
who's back.
ladies and gentlemen. It's Allie.
Yeah, back again.
Yay! Perfect
Guess who's back?
timing. We're
Back
trying the
again.
blueberry hef.
Oh, nice. I don't think I've tried this
So
one.
it's not cider. So we're talking straight blueberry Hefeweizen. I'm assuming it's probably an American Hefeweizen.
How does everyone feel really about blueberries?
I
love blueberries.
You have them on
And
your
we were
desk.
talking
I know
about.
you love them.
We were talking
Wait,
about.
is there somebody that doesn't like blueberries?
You know, I have a love-hate relationship because I don't like fake blueberry.
I don't like fake
Well, I don't
watermelon.
like
We were
fake
just talking about
blueberry
fake
either.
foods
This
versus real
doesn't.
foods.
You're not going to drink this and be like, "Oh, that tastes like a blueberry." It has a very
okay.
subtle, very
Little
subtle,
hint.
and it. Honestly, you might not even taste it, but it's. I like it. I like a hef.
That's
I
how you
love
can
a
tell
hef.
it's made with real blueberries. If you can barely
Probably.
tell.
You know what?
Because if it was like, wow, this tastes like blueberry.
It's got
That
some
means
blueberry flavoring.
yeah,
to it.
yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers to Kickin Cancer.
Cheers, big ears.
Okay, that's pretty good.
I like that a lot.
I do like
I do.
it.
It tastes like a
It's good.
Hefeweizen,
Yeah.
It
and I
does.
can
It's
get
like-
some blueberry hints,
Very
some notes
subtle.
on the back,
Yeah.
Very
like
subtle.
on the sides of the tongue.
Yeah.
He's so
Which is-
articulate. I'm
which
just
is
like, I think
why
I
you know
could.
Girl,
it
it's
has
good.
blueberries in it.
Mhm.
And Nate brings a good point up, Katie, that if this had a blueberry
Mark
flavor,
that down.
mark that down.
Yeah, brought up a good point.
Mm.
Going on the calendar.
Hold on, where's that pen?
Yeah.
There we go. But if this really had a strong blueberry flavor, then they probably added some fake blueberry
Yes.
flavor.
Yeah.
Right.
And I guarantee you, if this was blue in color,
Mm.
Oh,
they
yeah.
added some color.
Right.
This is a Hefeweizen, which is
No
not
blue.
designed to be blue.
No
Nope.
blue.
And it has some blueberries in it, and you can all taste a little hint of blueberries.
It's not
very
overpowering.
subtle.
It's very subtle, but it's a nice little
It's-
like.
And this is
Really
Santiam,
nice.
It's a good half.
Sandy and
Yeah.
Brewing.
Santiam Brewing, right?
Yeah.
It's
So this is
nice.
made right here in town.
Mhm.
So at actually 8 Odd Mo's. So there's 4 in town and 4 out of town.
Okay.
And then we'll sell it. The
And
other
at
thing
the Armory.
at the Armory.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
what happened was Odd Mo's sat down with Jason Conrad that owns the team, and Jason was looking for better concessions or different concessions.
Yeah.
So now every game you can actually get Odd Mo's pizza,
Mhm.
Nice.
and then they began making 3 new beers. So they actually
And a cider.
two beers and
Ooh,
a
and a
cider.
cider.
Two beers
Oh,
and
a cider. Okay.
Fun.
So they have a lime. It's a light lager with
Try that.
lime
Yep,
in
the
it.
lime
We
lager.
tried that
I really
Yep.
like that one.
Yeah.
And they have an IPA.
Their IPA. I'm a bit of an IPA snob. I'm a self-proclaimed. Love their IPA.
With
it is
Sandy
so good.
Yeah. And the great
Allie,
one.
that stands for Indian Pale Ale.
I know I'm not a bit huge fan of IPAs.
When you said pale and looked at Allie, I was a little concerned.
Yeah.
I'm like, I am the palest of us all, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Well, that's why
Yeah.
I had to explain it to her. It's like, what's pale?
This is winter months. This is
It's
winter
winter month.
You should see it in the summer.
Yeah.
Like, you might not be able to see me.
Not at night.
Turn the lights out.
Not at night. Wow. You know, if I said this in most crowds, I would be thrown out at the end.
No.
Again?
It's just, I mean, it's,
Twice in one
it's
show.
so funny.
We
because-
all have a very good sense of humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I talk about how pale Katie is. I just
So I'm
sometimes
pale.
Like, I
All right, this
You
time
guys
of
have a
year,
nice
it's
combination
like
for you.
a
Damn near clear.
Like,
We're
honestly,
like a yin yang.
some of my
This is
friends.
damn near clear.
I
I'm
am.
literally just
I am.
like,
Wait till
how
summer
much
though.
paler
I do tan.
Okay.
I tan
You're
well.
just not
Right.
quite as pale in the summer. Oh, no, you actually.
not only do I enjoy
actually-
drinking transparency,
I tan very well in the
you
summer.
do tan very well.
I
Honestly,
tan
you
very
do.
well in the summer.
I just
It goes away like that. though.
That's part of it. I'm just like you
It
can't get
falls
any other
away.
woman and-
just like that.
Falls. Give me 2 days out of the sun. And
Yeah.
Casper the Friendly Ghost is
It's
knocking
fine.
at your door.
Very well.
Me and Snoopy.
We're just not trying to have you suffer through heat exhaustion like you did before. That was scary.
Well, then that you hydrate.
that was
hydrate,
about 3
hydrate
years
with some
ago.
Effervescent blue.
I almost
Was it 3
died.
years
So
ago?
just for the record, this
I'm
is
pretty sure it's
actually
2020.
not hydrating.
Well, drink enough of it, right? No, it's a
I
diuretic.
thought it was 2021.
It had to have been 2021.
It's 20,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 2021. I almost died of heat exhaustion.
Oh,
Yeah. Were
it
you
was,
also?
it was when we had like 120 degree.
It was
Yeah.
Yeah,
hot.
so
Well,
You weren't hydrating
I went
enough.
to the lake.
You weren't
She wasn't
hydrating
doing
enough.
what
I was
she
in the
supposed
water.
Were you drinking the lake?
No.
to. Maybe.
Then maybe you should have,
good
because then you would have had at least you would have just had dysentery and then not.
I don't know what would have been worse,
Here's the thing,
honestly.
we didn't hear from her for like 2 days, and it was just like, okay, like I was almost
You know,
at the
there's
point
a
of like,
few of
we're
my
gonna.
friends that said if you didn't hear from me from 2 days, that would be a godsend.
Yeah.
No, Baron, we like hearing.
Baron.
I'm just saying.
No.
That's
I,
not
I
fun.
was scared. I was just like, okay, let's just not answering her phone. She's not answering her text. It was almost to the point of like, okay, we're gonna have to start calling hospitals. And she was like, I'm alive. I'm just.
I was barely alive.
Detective, it's been 24 hours.
Yeah.
How old is she? 37.
37. She's not normally like this.
Honestly, that's.
I need you said patrol car.
I feel like people would be like that if they saw one of us without each other, and they'd be like, "Where's?"
Yeah,
where's
well, they
Katie?
did.
Where's
It
Ashley?
What happened?
You?
It happened.
You guys have a fight?
But no, we went out to the lake. We were on the lake all day, right? Just in this, like, I was like in the water swimming, so I wasn't like thinking, oh, I'm thirsty, and I'm like
Yeah.
need. And we got out of the lake, and I apparently was very disoriented, and just completely out of it. I don't really. It's very fuzzy.
Hazy. Right?
It
It's a little
honestly
fuzzy.
was. You would.
Hazy. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there was no IPA being had.
Should have.
But there were kids there. It was like a whole family thing. It wasn't, yeah. Anyway, I would liken it to being extremely intoxicated, but I
Mhm.
wasn't.
But not drinking.
But not the fun
Yeah.
of, yeah.
Not the fun
yeah.
way.
Yeah, not the fun way.
Oh, that's how it feels whenever
It
it's
was,
just like,
it was
you know.
wild.
Did you get an IV or anything? Is that,
No,
No,
that
I
she
helped?
just-
didn't. She didn't go to the
I
hospital.
No, you
She
just-
didn't go
chugged
anywhere.
Gatorade and water,
Yeah.
and
She stayed at
I came out
home
of it.
and a
I came out
fan
of it.
and-
What's the little kids one? The little bottles.
Pedialyte.
Pedialyte. There
I
you
didn't
go.
have
That-
Pedialyte.
I told
That's a
her
good one.
I
Maybe I
was-
did. I don't know.
You
I
did
don't
it. You had
remember.
Gatorade.
Gatorade,
I
yeah.
remember this strictly. You had Gatorade, and you were like, "I have a fan right by my face," and I was like, "Katie, like, I was like, you need to go take an ice bath or like get like you need to get
So there's
fluids in you."
I'm
Like,
fine.
You got
I have a fan.
completely sucked into marketing because Gatorade has a lot of sugar in it.
Yeah,
It
you're
does have a
really
lot of
water
sugar.
it down.
Pedialyte is a much better answer than Gatorade.
But I did
Absolutely.
drink a lot of water too.
There's
Yeah.
a reason
From the
that they
lake,
start
that's
selling
not a good
No,
plan.
after
Pedialyte
the
at
fact, I got a
7-Eleven.
lot of
And it's not for the
water.
children.
Oh, whenever I ran track, we were not allowed to drink like Powerade or Gatorade. It was Pedialyte, and if there was the only thing left was Gatorade, we would have it extremely water, like
Yeah.
90-10 ratio to
It's a
have it
bad-
watered
it's
down
got-
because it has so much sugar.
We
Yeah.
have been sucked into marketing
Yeah.
when it comes
Oh,
to
yeah.
Gatorade.
Here's the anti-market for Gatorade. They made it specifically for the Florida Gators.
Yep.
And so just that alone makes you
All
be
I
like,
think
well,
is
I'm going to drink
Water
something
Boy.
else, right?
Hey, can you put the water boy thing in here?
I could
I know. That's
anything,
honestly,
anywhere.
I automatically think of Water Boy.
I can try to do anything.
I could try.
Well,
Okay.
Yeah,
one thing I
it's
do want to
bad.
circle back to, you said earlier
Yes.
about the IPA, because I just really want to thank Sandy and Brett for what they did.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Because the shirts that we're wearing are
Yes.
for a guy who worked for Pacific Stair, which is up in the Brooks area.
Mm-hmm.
And a year ago now, he thought he was healthy. About 210 pounds, high golf, fishing. But he had a pain, and he thought he just pulled a muscle. And after it wasn't going away, finally his friends and family convinced him to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
So by May, which is like 2 months from now,
Yeah.
he knew he had stage 4 pancreatic
Oh,
cancer.
God.
Stage 4.
Stage 4
Oh,
pancreatic, which is why we're wearing purple.
Yeah.
That's
yes.
May.
Can you live without your pancreas?
No, not
I
very
don't.
well.
I think it's your
Your
gallbladder.
pancreas is designed to filter sugar.
So just don't
and,
drink.
and part of the problem that pancreatic cancer is we're just pushing too much sugar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
absolutely.
right.
So we get
Processed sugars too.
Processed
Yes.
sugars. Thank
Right.
you for the
Right.
Because
Yeah.
fructose isn't necessarily a bad sugar for you that you get from fruit, which is why some people that are like
Exactly.
diabetic can have fructose because it's
Yeah.
a natural fruit sugar.
It's that processed sugar.
It's a processed
But
sugar.
you're
Yeah.
getting all the other nutrients along with that
Yeah.
fructose.
Fiber and
You're right, exactly.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, you can get
Yeah.
just straight fructose too.
Well, you can.
So you can go to Life Source and get fructose in bulk.
Yeah.
So utilize that instead of sugar for
Yeah.
like, I like sugar in my coffee. You can get fructose. To put in your
Fructose and
coffee.
Yeah,
Bake
that's
with
why I just
fructose.
don't
Okay.
do sugar. Or I
But
drink
unfortunately
coffee.
for Jason, by the time our organization was notified in July to try to step in and help out. So
Then you found out in May, you said.
about in May. So May,
Wow.
June, 2 months had gone by the time we were notified. We stepped in to do a fundraiser to assist. July, August, there wasn't a lot of time, so we did a golf tournament early in October, and he passed away on Labor Day.
Oh my gosh.
So he finds out in April,
Wow.
May,
It's not
yeah, like
that-
5 months. And he went from 210 pounds. When he passed away, he weighed 80 pounds.
Oh my
80
God.
From
pounds.
210.
From 210 in 5 months. But he left a widow with a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Oh man,
So we did this to help the family out.
absolutely.
But then we thought, well, what if we could do something more?
Yeah.
And we began having conversation with Sandy and Brewing.
Yeah.
So that IPA that you're going to get,
Yep.
it's
Yeah.
called the J for J.
Mm,
Just
Oh.
for Jason.
Oh.
that's
It's the
amazing.
J for J IPA. It has purple on it, and it has a little purple ribbon. And that IPA was created specifically because of Jason.
Yeah, wow.
So when you see it, well, people don't know that story.
Yeah.
But just like the can you showed, on the
Mhm.
side of the can, on the can that we're talking about, where this is at,
Yeah.
this has been removed. We don't have the Kickin Cancer logo on that
Okay.
can. It has a purple ribbon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then instead of saying blueberry half down here, it says J for J IPA, and it's a just for Jason.
Oh, wow.
And then X
And
amount of
Sandy M
proceeds.
Brewing created it specifically for them.
Wow.
And at some point, I don't know at what point, but at some point, they will then cut a check back to
That's
us
amazing.
that we can continue to help that widow out.
Oh, that's amazing.
4-year-old and a 2-year-old. So
That's
yeah.
so
Sandy
fast.
M is
4
just,
months.
and a great thing
Yeah.
is Jason Conrad took this beer and he found other places. So you can get it at Magoo's, you can get it at Kaiser Liquor Store. There's more
Oh,
places
yeah,
than just, you can get it at all the Odd Mo's.
Perfect.
So we just love this collaboration between
Yeah.
Odd Mo's, the
Mhm.
Capitals, Sandy and
Absolutely.
Brian,
It will be in
to
our
honor
Baron
a guy
Cellar
who
guest
died.
here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's
It
a
really
long
it's
story there.
I love it.
it's scary
I
how
love that.
fast that can happen.
Yeah.
It
Well, and it can just be in
Now
your
I'm thinking
body
about,
for so long
Do I have
without
any
you knowing.
pains anymore? That
Right, honestly,
Yeah.
Is there a
I
statistic
mean, more than usual.
when it comes to like, there's always that, stereotype out there that men don't, go to the doctors and they kind of just like stay at home and they're not
Walk it off.
Yeah,
Let
the
some sand
walk
on
off.
it.
Is there like
Yeah,
a stat
walk it.
out there when it comes to that of like men finding out later because of like them not going to the doctor or
Well, I haven't seen a stat, but
Yeah.
I do know that, and it's a really fine line. I'm not by any means trying to create a bunch of
right?
hypochondriacs that
Of
go,
course,
oh, I'm
yeah.
in pain, I got cancer. That's
Yeah.
not what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
There's
But-
so many other things you can get besides cancer.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry, you're
Maybe
doomed.
not.
Either way.
Don't worry, you're doomed regardless.
And besides the cancer, if you come to the old Wine Zen bar, you have to work with his humor. That could kill you in a heartbeat.
That
Exactly.
in a
Every day.
minute. I don't even give you the minute.
like bring on the cancer
Yeah.
versus his humor.
Right.
So I'm just saying.
It's
Uh-oh.
I mean, Nate, worse than cancer. That's what gave my dad cancer. Me the whole time.
I know.
Wow.
I don't know.
You know, it's been a while since someone had me laughing that hard.
No,
That was awesome.
That's how we
if my wife was here, her eyes would hurt so bad because they'd be rolling for the last
We're not
45 minutes.
I'm just saying that I'm going to put that in our promo.
Yeah.
Meet gay ones. Yes, right. that was classic. That was awesome.
That was a good one.
Who knew an Aquarius was worse than cancer?
Oh, now you got all the astrologists into our Yeah.
He doesn't discriminate.
No.
No,
Aquarius is worse than cancer.
that's
Used to say-
Nate.
As far
And for
like,
those who don't know, cancer is actually a month, but not just
Right, not that.
cancer's a month.
Oh my gosh.
So
it's
Aquarius,
very,
that
yeah.
was really well thought out.
thank you. And it's not necessarily a month, but it is a time frame.
It is a time
It is a time frame.
For
Technically,
US
it overlaps
between when you
between 2
started
months.
drinking and when you stopped.
That's right.
That's the time frame.
That's right.
Nate, you crack me up.
Thank you so much.
When did
Um,
this go from serious to humorous? I'm not sure.
That's why we have Nate. Honestly, here.
Yeah, I'm
You
only here
guys
for
will have
comedic
the ebb and
effects.
We
flow.
definitely have some fun.
Yeah.
He's the one who's supposed to just like look cute and the humor, and that's it.
I did not see that in the show notes.
Okay, he's just.
If I'd known, I would have worn a different vest. Sorry.
Always worry about
Oh.
Yeah, where's your other
So where's your cute vest?
Cute.
Oh, whoa, Nate.
I'm
Whoa.
good.
on.
You know that picture I sent you earlier from AI? It
Chill.
only takes 2 buttons to go from cute to sexy.
Chill. Is it sexy or
No.
Tomato, potato.
They're different. But no, it is interesting though. It's like gosh, how fast
Thank you
has
for
that
pulling us back to a
changed.
serious topic.
that's-
Allie's really good at that.
Yes.
And
I just laugh.
Really well done.
it is very interesting. Like I've seen, obviously, like you see, like I'm the one who like will at night like go on YouTube and go down the rabbit hole of like watching the guy, like the army guys coming back from like serving, and then like
Coming back from what? Serving?
Serving like overseas. and
Oh,
stuff.
not like at a restaurant, but
No.
like when they come back, like the burn pits in Afghanistan, they're sucking in all the. I
And
used to
then
run.
they
I used to
come
run in that stuff
Really?
in Africa. It'd be
Good Lord.
because you'd run. I'd go running. No, it
Why?
doesn't look like it, but I'd go. Why'd I go running? Because it's healthy.
You have to,
But no, because it was healthy. I was prepping for the New York half marathon.
Whoa.
And so I was in Africa at the time, and I'd be running at the coldest time of the day that it was, around 5 a.m. That would have dropped down to like 98 degrees.
Oh Lord.
And
Wow.
right before it
Crisp
starts kicking back
98
up.
degrees.
And so, but on Wednesdays, and I'd run like every day. And on Wednesdays, that's when the burn pits would happen. And we come wafting in a base between tires and clothes and poop and garbage, it just comes wafting. And you're just running like,
On Wednesdays,
"Ooh,
we
it's a
breathe
stinky day
toxins.
today. And that which got my name on the burn pit thing that the government has now. So lucky me.
Really?
What is it? What was that toxin? It wasn't a toxin. It was something that they used like in war. That then
Oh,
they
Agent Orange?
Agent
Yes,
Orange.
yes.
You were
Which
telling me about
not
this.
high in
I think it was
citric
you.
acid.
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah.
Is that sarcasm?
No,
Yeah, it's
Baron
not
actually
high-
has
no,
a really
it's not high in
interesting, and Nate probably knows about this too, but a really interesting
So during Vietnam,
story is the right
Yeah.
word, but
I don't know how many years we were into Vietnam, but what we were discovering as a nation was it was hard to find the Vietnamese because they were very used to the jungles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They-
Charlie up in the trees.
Yeah, and so we being the U.S. government,
Not us.
this
not these
Not,
two.
not,
we being
not Baron and myself.
Yes, yeah, we were involved, but we began
may
working
look of age.
alongside a company called Monsanto
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I've heard of it.
to develop a
I've heard of them.
chemical that could kill the plants.
And that.
And that chemical was called Agent Orange.
So
And it
the
was-
enemy is easier to find.
Right. And Agent Orange was like, I don't know, the second or third phase because they had Agent Purple and Agent Black.
We didn't try protecting jungles until the 80s. So
It was like,
But
Oh,
it was,
So they had
Separation
different phases
H.
of it.
yeah. So once they finally figured out how to actually do it, then it was called Agent Orange. And we would fly with these planes and we would drop this chemical on the forest and then the trees would begin to die.
but don't worry, our soldiers are already there waiting for them.
And the soldiers were going to be fine, but the trees would die. Baloney. Baloney, baloney. The Vietnam vets were horribly affected by
Yeah,
the
that's
North.
what it's going
And the
now
trees
they-
and the trees were not instantaneously dead.
No,
Really?
and we had to bomb the trees numerous times with this chemical to get the trees to
You know
die.
what works better
Oh.
than Agent Orange? Napalm.
Yeah. that's a whole-
oh, okay.
But now here we sit 60 years, 50 to 60 years from the Vietnam War, and so many Vietnam vets have non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. They have
Yeah.
blood cancer.
Yeah.
There's a guy that comes to greet us with us all the time, Dave Wentz.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
Testicular cancer.
Mm.
And it's because of this chemical that we use to kill the forest, so we could find the Vietnamese, so that we could kill them.
And
The things
those are
we
the
do in
lucky ones.
War is just unsafe.
Those are kind of like if you think about it, like 60 years ago, right? Like if you're still alive and you're having that today, those are the lucky ones because the other ones have already
Were
died
killed,
from this,
yeah.
from all these cancers,
Oh,
because it's been that long.
And the worst part is now that we're far enough out and they're starting to actually test the DNA of the
They're
Vietnam
just
vets.
now doing that
They're
now.
just now testing the DNA of the vets.
But don't worry, Monsanto will be just fine.
Yeah, Monsanto. What they have now discovered is that the Agent Orange has affected the DNA structure, the cell structure. And so we're talking 2 or 3 more generations before that Agent Orange is out of the cellular system of these Vietnam vets. You opened a
I mean,
can of worms
as
when you
long
asked
as
that
we,
question.
I
as
did.
long as like for what
Pisses
we
me
know
off.
now.
What we did.
that
Yeah,
is
yeah.
The system, like for the next 30 years. That's from what we know now. It could have. I mean, you would think
We have
it
no
has a
idea what
lasting effect.
What the
Oh, it does,
cellular,
yeah.
what
Yeah.
the damage to the cellular structure from that Agent Orange is
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, if they can only reverse engineer the cause to figure out how to fix cancer that's not caused by that, and go in the reverse
I feel like
order
they have-
about repairing DNA so that if his cell starts becoming cancerous, you can fix
So
it by
they're kind of doing that.
They're starting. That's
So there's a group that I just want to shout out because they've actually reached out to Kickin Cancer. We're trying to work together a little bit more. Whether you do or don't like Phil Knight is not the point. Phil Knight is funding this.
Yeah.
Uncle Phil.
Uncle Phil.
There we go.
Uncle Phil for the Duck fans. Because Oregon does have a professional football team. It's called Phil Knight. It's owned by all the Ducks. They're all Phil Knight.
It's true.
But anyway, so Phil is funding this group at OHSU. It's the Phil Knight Institute, and they're actually doing research.
Part of the Big
so
Ten.
they could swab your mouth, and they can find genetic markers for 30 cancers.
Yep.
And they can do a blood test, and they can find genetic markers for 50 cancers.
Wow.
And so what they're going to tell you, they're not going to say, Allie, that you have breast cancer.
Yeah.
They're going to say you have the genetic marker, which gives you the propensity for. Well, if you knew that you possibly could get it, would you eat more broccoli? Maybe. Maybe.
Well, okay, so is this in the same line where it's like, oh, it only takes like a drop of blood like Theranos, like to find out what?
It is. It's a drop of blood, and they can test that drop of blood.
Yeah.
And they can see 50 different cancer markers that you might get.
That's why I'm excited about like 23andMe is getting into like the medical research field because people are already taking the DNA test, which give them the DNA markers to just not only tell where your ancestors have lived in the world, but that same DNA is what's used as like genetic markers. Like what do you have a propensity for? Because certain people also around the world have more higher propensity for something that's just been genetic. Sickle cell.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
If you're from continent of Africa and you've got darker skin,
higher
higher chance of sickle cell.
Yeah.
It's always so interesting.
The long-term vision for Kickin Cancer. Now, our mission is to empower individuals to thrive through that cancer journey with support and education.
Is that the mission statement?
That's our mission
I
statement.
like that.
So our mission statement is to empower individuals to thrive through the cancer journey with support and education.
Okay.
Our vision is, because of doing that, because of the education, our vision is to see a 50% reduction in new cases of cancer.
Oh,
And the reason we want to do that, and this is just was so shocking, I was telling this with Katie, I started Kickin Cancer in 2018. From the time I started this until now, 12 million Americans have gotten cancer. Brand new cases.
Hold on though. Wait, rewind that, because when we were over there talking at the vault, you were talking about statistics from like 1920s to now. This is crazy.
In 1920, that's as far back as I can go to find statistics. In 1920, there were 25,000 new cases in the entire United States. Okay,
That's
What was
25,000.
What was the population in 1920?
A lot less than now, but still 25,000.
Not as significant as these numbers are.
Right.
Right.
I mean, you're right. You're right.
Right. I mean, what's the percentage?
I don't know. I could figure that out at some
Because
point.
if once you say X out of X and then Y out of Y, you can tell we've actually gone up X percentage, which could be a huge
I
number.
completely agree with you that you need to find the ratio.
Right.
Yeah.
But
still, these
point
numbers are
the point I was
pretty
making to Katie was that
crazy.
in 1920, 25,000 for the United States. Last year, 26,000 for Oregon alone. Oregon alone, that's the entire city of Newburgh.
Well, and we got a lot of Californians coming.
Well, that's the problem.
Bringing the cancer with them.
That's the problem.
Leave those guys down there. With,
I can't say that about Californians. My parents are from California.
you know, he could edit that out, I'm sure.
No,
Fine.
not when he does the editing.
But the point that I'm trying to make
It's like,
is
this
that
guy
we
makes
go
a really
from-
good point.
And it also because the testing on what kind of cancers that are out there has increased as well, though. Like overall, where it's like when they were doing it before, they were only testing for a certain amount, and obviously the population there's
Right.
certain.
Well, and like you said, how many different cancers
there's
are
still
there?
200.
over 200 different
Yeah.
kinds of
Right, and you go back. Say we go back to 1920, right? How many cancers did they know about in 1920 as
They didn't
well?
know
Right.
Right, because like I didn't know there's X amount of brain cancers, and I'm going to say, oh, it's brain cancer.
Right.
They could possibly say, well, brain cancer covers the whole thing.
Right.
So
there's a lot to
a lot of
that.
data.
And I would agree with Nate that statistics are what they are.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a lot to that.
you ever take
still-
a statistics
but
class?
still
like
those
we make it
numbers
say
are-
And
anything.
then it's increasing.
Pretty staggering.
But, I mean, it makes sense though.
But the point in
in
1920 was in the 1800s, we were an agrarian society.
Yeah.
Everything we had was food that we grew in our own garden,
Right.
probably, or traded between each other.
You go to the local market, buy local food. That's
Yeah.
because they're not
Yeah.
shipping it all
And
over the place.
somewhere probably in the 30s or 40s, we began to industrialize food. Right after World War II, we've got all these boomers that are being born. How do
Was
we
it?
get more? How do we get more product on the
Yeah,
shelf? How do we get more
instead of-
bread on the shelf? how does that bread last longer?
Oh yeah.
You know, I
absolutely.
mean, one prime example, lung cancer is oftentimes smokers are blamed because they smoke for lung cancer. There's a chemical they spray on apples and tomatoes that is designed to keep it crisp and red longer.
Yeah.
I know.
You know what that
exactly
chemical was designed for?
It's
The production of
phosphate.
plastic.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, isn't margarine like one molecule away from being plastic?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So my question.
That's why you use butter.
Yes. And so we're consuming an apple
Right.
from a store that has been sprayed so it stays around the square.
Mhm.
Well, I
Or
brought
go to
this.
Ballman Farms and get her off the tree.
Well, no, here's the thing. I brought it
Or
up. on
sprinkle
our
a
last
little bit of
podcast,
lemon
like,
on
where
it.
Where there was
Yeah.
a guy in New York who his whole thing was he was using his front yard to have his own garden and everything, and then he got
Oh yeah.
he got tickets and he got fined and
Yep.
all this stuff. And he's like, so this is property that I own and I can't use it to plant and have a garden and do all this because it doesn't look appealing.
Right.
And I'm all on board with it. I'm like, yes, if I'm going to have something, I'm going to use, would you rather have me plant a garden on here or use it to store 50 old trucks that I haven't moved in 10
Yeah.
years?
What kind of trucks? No,
That's
I'm
Toyota.
That's all Toyota Tacoma. It's just a
It's just
Tacoma
Tacomas.
graveyard.
My next question is going to be, so when it comes to, because I always ask this when it's like, you know, when donating funds and all of that kind of stuff, or like serving in like certain, when it comes to like cancer causes, like, are there certain, and you don't have to answer, but certain like programs or nonprofits that you would say, hey, maybe not to go because it's more towards paying salaries.
And
rather
I think
than-
they're required by law. Like you can check the percentage
Yeah.
of what goes
That
to the
was-
actual company and what does not.
Yes.
Because some are set for 60%, some are set for 80%,
Yes.
So
some
what?
are
Yeah.
set for in the 90s.
So I don't know all, and I can
Yeah.
answer your question mostly.
Partly, yeah.
Mostly. Every 501c3, every nonprofit is required to fill out their forms. They're all public information. They can find ours if they want, and we're just not big enough that anyone cares right now. But when we began applying for grants, our grant writer said you need to keep your administrative costs below 15%,
Yeah.
or funders don't want to support you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Why would Nate want to donate $100,000 knowing that most of that is going to go to admin?
$100,000 to
Exactly.
donate.
On the
Yes,
spot.
today, by the way.
Nice.
And Mike, that check out to Baron Robison.
Lord Baron.
But so we have worked really hard as an
Yeah.
organization.
Yeah.
I'm proud of the fact that last year we finished at 13%,
That's amazing.
which means
Karen.
87 cents
Yeah.
every
That's
dollar
amazing.
goes to the cause.
That's amazing.
And I'm going to give you a great example because I know
Wow.
Katie's on the board for the Salem Fire Foundation,
Yes.
which has two missions:
Mhm.
CPR
Yep.
and support the benevolent fund.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, if they raise $100,000 and 60% of that goes to administration of,
Mhm.
then only 40% of it goes to the firemen.
Are you
Right.
saying that
No,
only
I'm not-
60%?
No.
That's
No.
hypothetical.
It's an
Might not want to
But-
bring
but-
up, use that one as an example.
But you can add it, right? But we knew
Greenpeace.
Yeah.
we wanted the public to realize that your donations are actually going to help the people that we're trying to help.
That's
Absolutely.
important.
Now, I
It
will
is,
say, and
yeah.
I won't mention names, though I do know who it is, there's one very significant organization that
Very
many
prominent.
people know that their admin cost is 72%.
Anxiety.
What?
Is it?
Well, let's not name
I
names.
don't.
Well, we won't name any names, and I will.
Because
You want me to name names?
I don't
I
care.
mean, I'm a.
Susan
I'm
G.
sure-
Susan G.
That's what I-
Coleman's
Yeah,
admin cost is 72%.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
insane.
And if you don't care if I
Yeah.
name names, I'll
I
name
don't even know who that is.
It's a prominent. It's one.
Well,
of
Susan
the
G.
and-
Komen,
and-
Race for the Cure.
The very short answer to Nate's question is: in the '60s, Susan G. Komen died from breast cancer.
Oh, so she's not going to get mad.
Before she died, her sister promised
Yeah.
to make sure she didn't die in vain.
Okay.
So her
I like
sister
it.
worked very hard
Yep.
in the '60s and '70s and '80s. No cancer had taken pink yet, so they took pink for breast cancer. That's how it came out.
Yeah.
And then somewhere in the late '80s, they were beginning to get some traction, and they hired a really good marketing guy
Yeah.
and paid him an exorbitant amount of money, and now pink's everywhere. But my point is,
It's an Aerosmith song.
people know Susan G. Komen, and
Yeah.
they donate, they race for the cure, they do all this
Yes.
stuff but only 28 cents actually goes to where you think it's going.
And that's
And
when
you
it
open another
becomes.
can of worms.
So,
I
so the
know,
rest goes
I
over
I
my
asked,
Yeah.
well, that's
Hold my
I
wine.
That's why it's called Hold My.
but that's part of why, like,
It
when it
just
turns,
frustrates me.
It's very
from,
I'm glad we brought it up.
but
It's
it
very
turns from a
frustrating.
cause into a business, and
Yes.
that's when I
Yes.
have an
Yes.
issue.
Not
with
just
it.
business,
like,
a corporation.
Yeah,
corporation.
At that level.
Yeah, there
And
you
I
go.
made it really clear
Yeah.
to our board of directors for the first 4.5 years, 0 salaries in our
Yeah.
organization.
Yeah.
We're a completely volunteer organization. There are now a couple of stipends,
Mhm.
but nobody is living off their stipend.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know?
As it should be.
And I have a job beyond
Yeah.
this. I work for the Mavericks League, right?
Right.
But if we're going to be
Right.
effective, then if you pay someone to bring your cause to a higher level,
Yeah.
then where's the money going? It's
Yeah.
going to the guy that just, or female that just took it to the higher level,
Yeah.
right? And what they do with the Salem Fire Foundation is great because it's actually helping the firemen.
Absolutely.
And so if we're trying to help people in this community who have cancer, and you're paying me $70,000 a year, and we raise 110, and
Mhm.
only 40,000 actually went to
Yeah.
people.
Right,
And-
exactly.
And that just infuriates
It's not
me.
right.
It should be
Yeah.
like sales, right? Hey, you want to make more money? You do the advertising. We're going to give you 2%. So if you raise all that money, you're going to get even
Right.
more money.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I'm
go.
glad you bring that. Like, honestly, I'm
Yeah.
glad you answered because that is a big thing.
I don't have a
When-
problem
when
saying
it-
the name. I just don't
Yeah.
want to say it.
Well, and the
No,
reason
why
you know
not? I
these
mean-
numbers because it is public
It is
knowledge.
public
You have access to it.
Well,
Yeah.
and you know what? That's a good point. People should know.
Right.
If you're
Exactly.
donating to something, where does your money really go?
Well, and this
Yeah.
is just think about this from an advertising standpoint. Okay, what does it cost to advertise on TV?
I don't know.
lot.
Yeah.
Lot.
Quite a bit,
Yeah, especially depending on the
what
channel,
showcasing,
depending on
but
what
yeah,
time frame.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
one
Get me
of
started
the
on Super Bowl.
major donors-
Yeah, Super Bowl is like
Yeah. Super Bowl commercials.
One of the major donors that over the years
Major
have
donors?
donated money to Kickin Cancer,
Yeah.
he made this point to me. Everybody says, I only have a couple causes I donate to.
Okay.
And if they advertise on TV, I do not donate.
Oh, that's smart. That's smart.
And
get
I
it.
That's smart.
love the
Now, what if
mission.
it's Sarah McLaughlin singing about sick dogs? All
Ooh.
I don't like watching the commercials. It made me cry.
right, okay.
Oh, don't even.
Yeah.
I can't.
But I
Stop.
love
Guys,
Stop.
You
I'm
guys
going
are
limp.
killing it. But I love the mission of Wounded Warrior Project. I really
Yeah.
do. I
Yes.
love what
Yes.
they're trying to accomplish.
They
I also
have
know that I
started
see their
going.
ads on TV a lot.
Yes.
Mhm.
So it just makes me, as the executive director of our organization,
Yeah.
wonder how much money are you spending to get your
Yeah.
message out there?
Ah,
Yeah,
but you don't have to. You can look it up.
You can.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm
You
like
don't have to wonder.
And Kickin Cancer is
Public
very
information.
grassroots. I mean,
Good.
Yeah.
we met randomly through a
Right.
variety of places
Right.
because we don't spend that kind of money to advertise. It's just,
Yeah.
it's just a
Legwork.
guy with a shirt
And
on
you'll-
and a
but
donkey
I will
talking all the
say,
time.
Baron, your social media, you do
It's
a
so great.
fantastic job
You
on
do.
social media, and I think, and keep going at that because that's how, that's how I knew who you were.
Yeah.
Is through your social media, and I think that's how probably most people, they hear the name Baron Robison or Kickin Cancer, they know it mainly because of social media. You're doing a fantastic job.
Honestly, I just look out for a red hat. And normally, if I see it, I think it's
The
you.
red hat.
Until I
The
really
red
look
hat.
at it, I'm
Wait,
like,
what kind of red hat are we talking about?
It's just
Well, and-
Nathaniel.
Yeah, and again, social media is just such a fickle little
yeah.
tool.
But you
You do
are
amazing.
when I
fantastic at
started
it.
that, it was just really me for about a year, me with a shirt.
Yeah.
So I just had a lot of pictures of me. But over time, people bought the shirts. And I
Yes.
said, it's not about me, it's about the donkey, it's about the
Yes,
message.
exactly.
So then I started more pictures of more people wearing the shirt.
Yeah, you did a
And-
fantastic
and
job.
just bring awareness to, I posted just the other day that we had somebody in South Dakota and somebody in Texas.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So my hashtag is We're in the World Kickin Cancer.
Yep.
Mm.
South Dakota and Texas. They're
That's
not
awesome.
me, they're two people,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
We've got someone wearing the shirt in Ethiopia and somebody in Tanzania.
Yeah, you're doing a-
Amazing.
Incredible job.
And social media can be your friend or your enemy either way.
Yes.
Of course.
But I don't have to spend a bunch of money to do that.
Right, you don't.
And
you don't.
I know, I love the mission of Wounded Warrior Project. I have a problem with the fact that if I donate, how much that donation went for that TV.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
And that's something
Exactly.
for people to take into consideration
Okay.
when
Well,
donating.
and it's that balance, right?
Yeah.
If you
Oh
if
my
the-
wine.
if
Oh
that-
my wine.
if
Got
that
me going
TV ad,
again.
if that TV
Sorry.
ad can raise enough revenue, then yay, it's a great thing.
Yes,
if
but
it doesn't,
doesn't,
then it's like if you
Yeah.
were to pay for a TV ad in Ohio and it cost you $2,000 to put a TV ad in Ohio, way away from what,
Mhm.
and then suddenly you get $10,000 from the $2,000 that you spent. You would have never gotten any money from Ohio,
Right.
but suddenly, boom, there's $10,000.
Sure.
It's all a balance. It's like, okay,
Oh, absolutely.
if you've spent money, as long as your return is in a market that is greater than you would have had before, it's worth it, right?
Absolutely.
If it's a loss, sometimes you have to chalk it up like, it was a great idea. I went for it. I thought it would work. Hopefully, at the minimum, you break even. But if you go $1 more, that's $1 more than you would have had, and within that market.
Well, I think that works whether it's a nonprofit or whether it's a wine shop or whether it's the ice cream place on the street.
Well, I do think it's
you have to
actually
take
a
a
little
chance on marketing.
Yeah.
It's a little different. So whenever it's like more of like, I think when it comes to a nonprofit for the marketing perspective, where it's more of like if you have a sponsor and you're saying specifically like, hey, we're wanting to do this for advertisement rather than, because that's different than being like, hey, yes, just donate money. And then this is like, they don't know where it's strictly going.
If you start going national, because if you start going national, you have a greater chance of increasing your funds in, but at what cost?
Exactly.
And you have to balance that cost between your message.
Thank you for answering. I appreciate you answering my question.
I'll answer it honest. I just don't know how honest you want to be.
Honest. And that's why we wanted this podcast.
As honest as Abraham Lincoln.
We want honest. We want the true, authentic you.
Not George Washington.
We don't want someone who comes in here and just tries to be someone they're not. We want you to be you.
This is not a political campaign.
This is why we wanted you on here.
This is part of my frustration with marketing that has been employed to us. And I'm going to give you one more example of marketing that's been employed to us. The phrase "race for the cure" has been trademarked.
Oh, interesting.
It has. Yeah,
Okay.
I read something about that.
It's been trademarked.
Yeah.
I could, if I wanted to pull off a walk in this town, I could not call it "race for the cure." They have trademarked that phrase.
What if it's like the winner gets tickets to go see The Cure?
The Cure.
Or what about Race for Cure? Or
Race for Cure?
Well,
now that would be Race for Cure. Oh, that would be a race to get tickets for The Cure.
Marathon for The Cure.
I'm like,
the other one that is very frustrating, and it goes back to our pharmaceutical conversation. Keytruda is a pharmaceutical drug that has been designed theoretically for lung cancer.
Okay.
And if you listen to their ads on TV,
they're pushing it for something else.
May cause
they're
death.
pushing it for a few other things now.
Yeah.
But they use a phrase they say a chance for more days, a chance for more sunsets, a chance
Like
for.
Ozempic.
So what you're saying is there's a chance.
What?
They're saying there's a chance.
Like Ozempic is not like how they marketed Ozempic. It's originally used for people who have diabetes.
Yeah.
And now it's like if you watch their ads or anything,
It's a massive
they're
weight
not
loss.
Actually pushing it towards.
Oh, right. So if
Yeah, it's a
someone
weight loss thing.
comes out with a drug for diabetes and everybody kept falling asleep as a side effect, they'd be like, oh, this is a great drug for people falling asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Marketing, I love it, but it's
Keytruda figured out that it wasn't actually doing what they wanted to do, but they had these ads of people walking on a beach for a chance for more sunsets, and so they trademarked the phrase
a chance.
"a chance for more life."
How can you trademark that? Like how?
So they own the phrase "a chance for more life," but they don't have proof that Keytruda will actually give you more life.
Right.
Well, I mean, I feel like maybe
trademark
you could
whatever
probably
you
trademark
want.
anything, but
Like,
nobody's at this point like, I'm going to
totally,
challenge
it's
that
insane.
in court,
like
right?
Kylie Jenner trademark Stormy.
When Paris Hilton tried to trademark That's Hot.
That's so fetch.
So fed.
But it was very frustrating.
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
That's on Mean Girl.
Yes.
It was just
Yes.
frustrating to realize that "Race for the Cure" is a trademarked item, and so much dollars gets pulled into all these races for the cure.
Yeah.
It was our second year as an organization. We were trying to get all of our verbiage figured out, what we're trying to say, what we're trying to communicate to the public, and we had a phenomenal gentleman on the board of directors back
I don't
then.
remember being there.
And
Weird.
I said phenomenal gentleman.
Peculiar.
But I had gone up to Vancouver, Washington, and it was a run for women with breast cancer. It was really well attended. And right before they all took off, they announced that they had raised $600,000. Everyone cheers.
Sure.
And they take off running.
Yeah.
And they come back for the luncheon. And they go, if you're a 40-year survivor, sit here. And they did. It was a really inspirational event.
Yeah.
And so I'm talking to this board of directors member, and he says, "Where did that $600,000 go?"
Yeah.
He says,
Great
when
question.
we can tell the public where $600,000 goes, we will raise $6 million.
That's shady. What he said, if
Because his point was people donated to this run in Vancouver, Washington, and they raised $600,000, having no idea where that $600,000 went. Right? It's like, oh, this is a cure for breast cancer, and we love you, ladies, and here's some money, here's some money, here's some money. But the public has no idea what that money is doing.
Shady.
Right.
I think that's super
And so
shady.
his whole point was, as an organization, if we can document for you where your $600,000 goes,
We'll give you all the money.
he says you will. He says we.
Yeah.
He's not on the board anymore, but he says eventually you'll raise $6 million because they know where it's going.
Exactly.
Right, instead of not knowing where it's going.
Right.
So his whole point was they don't know that. They have no idea where it's going.
So he's not the shady one. He's the one calling
it's
them
just
out,
that
being like,
he's calling
if you
them
can
out.
tell
'Cause he
me
can't tell
exactly
you.
where this money's going,
That's
then you're going to
so
raise more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's not shady. He's actually really ethical.
Yeah.
His whole point to me was, let's get clarification as a board of directors so that they do know where the money's going. And when they do know where it's going, they'll donate $6 million, not $600,000.
Right.
And so we worked really hard the last 3 years to do that. And I'm just super proud that I could announce that over the last 5 years, we have gifted back to this community $100,000.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, that's the thing, because you're very transparent with the funds you receive and where it goes. And I love the percentage of where you guys are at, where it's like, okay, 13% for like admin cost and all of that. I think that's amazing. Because yes, you still need kind of some of that capital to obviously run it.
Well, we
But
still
the
got
fact
to
that,
we have an attorney.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pay him all the
Oh,
time.
absolutely. Yeah. That's
We have a
absolutely
very
necessary.
large, it's called D&O, but it's directors and officers. We have an insurance policy. We have a liability policy. All those are hard costs that require any business to work.
Absolutely.
You know, Nate brings business in, and
Nate tries.
Nate tries to be business.
Nate does a
And
very
by
good
the way,
job.
If you haven't been here yet, it's called the Old Wine Zen Bar.
It's actually called Old Zen Wine Bar.
See, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore.
Everybody's Googling Old Wine Zen Bar.
I'm very
Why do I want old wine? It's delicious. It's delicious.
It's all zen.
But whether anybody comes here or not, you still have hard costs, right?
Yeah.
You still have.
Oh yeah, I got to pay my
still have
lease. I got to pay my insurance. I got
Absolutely.
to.
So whether we donate anything, there's still hard costs.
Yeah.
Cost,
Even
yeah.
the first
Water,
year, we kept
electric.
it at 17%.
I still think that's
It's amazing,
amazing. Honestly,
yeah.
again, compared to ones that I've seen with the one
Yeah,
you
it can
mentioned.
it can never be zero, because if
Yeah.
it's zero, something's messed up with the
Exactly.
books.
Exactly.
And that's why our grant writer said keep it at 15% or below.
Yeah.
And then funders will want to give you grant money
Absolutely. I
to
completely
help
agree
you
with
get
that.
bigger.
Yeah.
Of course.
And so last year we pulled in about $11,000 in grants
That is amazing.
Fantastic. Good job.
That's amazing.
wow.
because we got some clarity.
Yeah.
You know, it's not $6 million yet, but his point to me was well served. Now, I knew,
Absolutely.
tell them where the money's going, so when they donate, they'll know where their money is.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Well, and one thing, so the dragon boat races. I just
Oh!
wanted to bring that up real
Katie's
quick.
on it.
Super fun. Katie's on my
Katie's
boat.
on
Katie's
the
on my
boat.
I'm on the boat. I'm on a boat.
I'm
I'm on a
so
boat.
excited. You thought you were originally just going to be like a.
Well, I did, and I thought, oh, that's okay. I'm always alternate.
For what
That's
it's worth,
fine.
I
And then I got your
bumped-
message.
I bumped the guy out of the boat.
Don't say it.
My God. Oh, I'm sorry. We just totally bonked.
I just
heads
really
right
wanted
there.
to go
I'm
on the
sorry.
boat. That's why.
I'm so excited. She was
Yeah.
so like
I'm
right
so
when you
excited
told
for
her,
it.
she was so excited because at first she thought she was just going to be an alternate, and we're going to be
The
there
other guy
to cheer.
wasn't really committed. And she
Oh,
was.
I will.
Katie was
I
absolutely
mean,
committed.
he's
I'm
actually. I
committed.
told him. I said, "Sorry, Katie's in the boat. You're swimming alongside the side."
Hey, yeah, he can try to keep
She's
up.
going to be
And
amazing.
the really fun side, because I showed Kate, the fun part is we're changing the shirt,
Uh-huh.
and so you've got a
To be a
dragon
donkey in a boat.
boat. Close. So you
That's
have
so
a dragon
close,
boat,
Nate.
Yep.
and then behind it, on like this little wakeboard, is the donkey like he's watching.
Yes.
And
I
it
love
says-
that. I
So there's
love
people
that.
in the boat
There's people in the boat.
pulling the donkey.
Yeah. And then they're pulling the donkey. And that's
He's
what-
dragging
that's
ass.
part of our shirt. Very good.
Thank you.
So, because it's a dragon boat, it says DRAGGIN because we're dragging
Dragging.
our ass down the Willamette.
There you
Down
go.
the Willamette.
And we're all going to have those shirts on.
Well, and
That's
so
gonna be
one thing that
And
I
y'all need to pledge Katie.
yes,
Yes.
I've pledged. Well, I am. I'm doing
Yeah.
it today, but
Me too.
pledging. Me too. But I'm pledging $100
Hashtag me
to
too.
myself.
I don't think that's how that works.
To myself. So if you can match that, get close to it, get over it, under it, whatever it is, any dollar amount, whatever you can do,
Yes.
is going to an incredible cause, as you can see, but also supporting me, supporting us, and supporting Kickin
And
Cancer.
there's 4 boats.
Yeah.
Each boat has 20 paddlers.
Mhm.
So potentially each boat will raise at least $12,000.
Yeah.
If someone goes above and beyond, we have some really fun incentives
Yeah.
for going above
Super
and
cool
beyond.
prizes.
You've got Liberty House, which is child
Yes.
abuse prevention. You've got
Mhm.
Kickin Cancer. You've got United Way. And then the Multicultural Center is going to have their own
Yes,
boat.
I
Right.
saw.
Right.
Okay, so what do
So
we
there's
know what
four.
her boat looks? Do you know what?
Are they going to be able to understand each other?
I don't know.
No, because it's multicultural. It's a
Yeah.
bunch of gibberish.
Yeah.
Like, what language is that?
I can't row. I talk it with my hands.
That's Italian. I got that.
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
you can understand
we'll
when I do this in
post-
Italian.
We'll post the link for
Yes.
you to be able to. It's super easy. It's like 3 clicks. And you're
Barely an
done.
inconvenience.
Super easy to be able to
And I
donate.
have news for you that you may not have told yet. But
What is it?
if you all watched, there's like 3 stations in Portland where they have a roaming reporter that goes around and does like a 6 o'clock in the morning
I thought the Romans died out years ago.
roving.
Oh.
You and your dadgum wine. I can't even talk.
Roving.
Roving reporters.
Roving,
But we're going to bring
reporters.
channel 12 down, channel 8, and hopefully channel 6.
Oh, that's amazing.
And we'll go to the river early in the morning and,
Yeah.
and do like a paddle. But we're going to get on Portland News.
Oh,
Woo, woo.
fun.
And we're gonna showcase
Look
the
for my
fact that
face.
Salem has
Somebody's gonna be in
4
front.
boats supporting 4 causes
Yeah,
at this charity dragon boat
That's so
race.
cool.
that is amazing, Baron.
It's
Oh
nice.
my God.
And
I
I
love
have
how
talked to Andy Carson personally, and I said, when you get there, zoom in on Katie.
I love how we have dragon boat races here because
I'll be full makeup.
It's super interesting, honestly.
I mean I lived in
Point
Japan
it
for
out.
years.
So you never saw it?
Oh, I did.
Right.
That's why I love it so much because in Japan we'd have dragon boat races all the time, and
Yeah.
you know,
So
and
fun.
because I mean I was in Okinawa, and it's
You're
like,
right.
Oh yeah.
and it was the weather was always beautiful, so you could have dragon boat races all the time. But they'd have them like once a year. You have
For
big
rubbing
huge
in
dragon.
their faces, but whatever.
Yeah, you're welcome. With my ass hat. But yeah, it's cool, right? And it's cool that now I'm in the Willamette Valley, and
that's
we've
awesome.
got like dragon boat races in here.
Yeah.
It's super.
Yeah.
And for
That's
those
awesome.
that have followed me, I work very hard not to say the word ass except for in the show. And so our shirt actually has the A, but that's a $sign.
Right.
Another fun thing to announce is we quarterly we support somebody that has cancer. Starting April 1st, the second quarter is a dispatcher here in Salem.
Are you actually doing it, or is it an April Fool's joke?
No, it's actually
Oh,
going to
I know.
So April,
That
May,
would be
June.
horrible.
That would be a horrible.
Horrible joke.
April, May, June is second quarter. And Amanda is a dispatcher
Mhm.
and that was diagnosed with uterine cancer.
Mhm.
And I was just telling Katie that before the diagnosis, she had hair like Katie's and now she's totally bald.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we're supporting her.
By shaving Katie's head for the dragon boat race.
There we go.
I'm not sure we can sell that one. Dave.
I bought the wig.
Not
happening. I'm sorry.
I know.
I'll wear one of those bald
She
wigs,
is
but I'm not.
truly amazing. I don't know where to see her head, but
I'm gonna have
You
to
wouldn't
have
do
it.
that for cancer,
I
Katie.
did the first shave.
My
How
hair,
dare you.
My hair's already falling out.
All right. All right.
but we're doing a golf tour. Kickin Cancer doing a golf tournament early in June.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we're kicking cancer
At
on the
McNary Golf
grass.
Course.
We're kicking cancer on the grass.
Mhm.
Which golf course?
McNary Golf Course.
McNary Golf Course. Nice.
That'll
And
be
on the
fun.
10th hole will be the Salem Fire Foundation.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're gonna be there.
Absolutely.
Because the Salem Fire Foundation also supports dispatchers.
Yes.
So it's a
Yes.
perfect combination
Yes.
of what we're doing for a person that you do for specifically.
Yeah,
for
it's great when they
And
like
Kickin'
these
Cancer
different
is gonna
entities can
be
get
at the
together
Salem
for
Fire
a common
Foundation.
purpose. And,
September.
Golf tournament in September.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nate.
no, that's
cut you off.
super. I love that.
Yeah.
That's right.
You
I love
go.
being cut off.
Keep going. I'll mute
Look
you
at
down.
these cups are empty. You are cut off. Hold on, Rick.
This is why it's called
You have
Hold My
officially been cut
Wine.
off.
Hold my wine.
Am I a VIP yet?
Yeah. Only Steve and I know what that means.
It has been great to have you on, honestly. This
Thank
has been
you.
one of the funnest.
And one of
Oh,
the
hands
longest.
down.
Really? No longer?
And one of the longest.
Yes, I
Well,
think this has been the longest podcast.
We had a host
But-
of this podcast leave and come back in so long.
Exactly.
Never in Hold My Wine
Not only
history
that,
has
it
that
is now
happened.
tomorrow.
Yes. Is it April? Oh,
But I will-
my goodness.
I will say, I've done several different TV and radio shows. I've never laughed as hard.
Good.
That comment Nate had me going.
Oh, which one?
I know there's
There's
several.
so many.
See Nate, cancer is worse.
Yeah, that's right. Hi, I'm Nate. I'm working cancer. I'm getting that on my card. business card.
And apparently Aquarius is worse than Cancer.
Yeah, apparently. It's the age of.
I seriously, my cheeks hurt when you said that.
Oh my God.
So
It's like thanks.
Yes.
I'm Nate.
I do what I can with what I got.
Nate is amazing.
I'm Nate. I'm worse than Cancer.
I'm Nate, and I'm worse than cancer.
And it's just the way you deliver the line.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's like some public service announcement.
And I endorse this message.
And he
I'm Nate.
endorses it.
I'm worse than cancer,
Oh my God.
and I endorse this message.
You can't do the Obama. You can't do
Sorry.
You have to.
Oh.
Hello, I am Nate,
You have to.
And
stop.
I am
You
worse
have to
than
stop. I'm gonna
cancer.
be here.
Oh, heavens.
No, this is going to be, I
How do you
believe,
do that without
our
laughing? I'm laughing. Yeah,
Oh, I don't think I'm coming.
episode.
Come back for
Hold My
more.
Wine. Thank
Yes.
you guys for joining us. Again, everything we've talked about and all links and all information will be down below. We're going to have another guest coming up soon, Jacob Espinoza, who's going to be talking about the hip hop wine night here at Old Sin.
It's true.
So it'll be exciting.
And yes,
But-
smash that like and subscribe
There
button,
we
yo.
go. But thank you so much for coming on with us today, Baron. We
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Yes, this has been by and far one of my favorite.
And my
podcasts.
last comment, I just need to clarify: does this shirt make my ass look?
Yes.
You look amazing.
Your ass looks huge.
Good. No matter how you stretch it, the ass is the same size.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.